But hello, everyone, and thank you for attending our this month's virtual community meeting. We do this monthly on the third Tuesday at noon. So keep track and enjoy as you do. Very exciting one today, talking about the small buildings and ADUs and things in milder climates. So looking forward to that. We are Passive House California, and we are a part of the Passive House network and a part of the International Passive House Association and the Passive House Institute we are connected with as well. So you're on the Passive House with the Passive House gang at this point. And what I wanted to do is just first, we'd like to thank our sponsors at the beginning. Our silver sponsors are Small Planet Supply. If you look at these on the website, you can just click on the logos for Small Planet Supply, Minutair, or Earthbound Homes, and they will take you to those points. The same thing is true for our many supporting sponsors that we have: 475 Building Products, Rockwool, FGA, Fergus Garber Architects, Ream, Stiebel Eltron, Intelligent Membranes, Pete Moffett Construction, Prosoco, Good Space Builders, the Heinrich Team, which is a local real estate group, Hayward Lumber, and CBHBA. So thank you very much to our sponsors. We will let me turn it over now to Kim. I will unshare and we'll get on with today's show. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kim. I'm from the Passive House Network. I'm the communications coordinator. Christian and Jason are featured presenters to share what they have for us today. So welcome to you both, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Kim. Thanks for attending the community meeting, the Passive House California community meeting. My name is Christian Kienapfel. I'm an architect here in Southern California, Los Angeles. And we have worked on a couple of Passive House projects, and I'm presenting today a small-scale project, an ADU, accessory building unit, and a project per SB9. It's basically an urban infill project, and it's a Passive House, so it's interesting from both aspects here. We are located actually in Los Angeles. The site is located in West Los Angeles in close proximity to the ocean. We are a little bit north of the Marina del Rey. And the site is located in a single-family residential zone surrounded by apartment buildings and local school. The site has an existing single-family residence, which was built in the 1950s, and an existing garage from the same time. The property is approximately 7,500 square feet in size. And the client approached us in 2021 with the idea of converting and building a new accessory dwelling unit. You might be familiar with the accessory dwelling units. Those are part of the landscape here in California since some time, where you convert an existing garage into a rental unit or a personal use unit. And in 2021, we started the design of that accessory dwelling unit. And actually then in fall, in October and September, the Senate bill SB9 came into play, which allowed a second single-family residence on a residential single-family lot. And what that SB9 allowed now to have a single-family property and have two single-family residences. They could be attached or detached, and in addition, two accessory dwelling units with a maximum of 4 units on one property. Additionally, if the client lives on the lot, it allowed for a lot split, and each lot can have 2 single-family houses or a single-family house and an accessory dwelling unit. And these are the options which are provided since January 22nd. We actually submitted the building permit on January 22nd, because we want to take advantage of our owner and client, who's actually on the call here as well today, wanted to take advantage of that. And the scheme or the version we choose was keeping the existing single family, building an accessory dwelling unit, and a second single family project on the site. In diagrams, it looks like here, the blue is the accessory dwelling unit, and the second single family is in the backyard here. And for the second single family dwelling unit, we needed to provide 1 carport in the rear, and that's how these two rental units come into play. The question was answered by our owner here. Why did he choose Passive House? And we have a short video statement why he selected to use Passive House for his two new projects.
My name is Michael Scheurer. I'm the homeowner. And as you possibly can pick up from my accent, I have a German background. And I've always wondered, how can homes here in California be so expensive and be so poorly built? So with just like a few extra dollars, and I mean that how I say that, I could get a house that is so much more solid, has so much more quality, and that basically what a Passive House to me delivers. And I'm a big activist when it comes to environmental activism, and yeah, so I decided to build a Passive House. I have connections to a Passive House architect in New York, and Tradesperson, and he connected me with his colleague here on the West Coast with Kienapfel, and the baby was born.
After the baby was born, we grew it a little bit and developed it further. And it became two freestanding dwelling units. Each of them has a small backyard, and it's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath house with an outdoor space, no shared common walls. And I get always asked the question, how big is the unit? Seems to be a very straightforward and easy question, but when submitting to the building department in Los Angeles, it's not easy. You have to provide 4 different area calculations from the building code floor area, residential floor area, school fee floor area, zoning code floor areas. And since not enough, Passive House calculates it different with a treated floor area. So 5 ways of calculating areas of a house, and super confusing for anybody who explain that. And our contractor, Alberto, is on the call here as well. It's his first Passive House. He took the training last year, and we have a short clip with his thoughts about his Passive House experience.
Hi, my name is Alberto Canseco. I'm the general contractor from this Passive House, So it's my first house. I took the training last year, and the first day when I went to do the trainings, I was ready to quit, The soon I took the second day, that's when I realized it was helpful for me, and that's when avoid like leaks. And then so I was scared because this is the first time I want to take that. And when I do the blower test and the class, we have leaks. That's why it was my scare on this project. Blower test last week, and it was great, Hi, my name is
And indeed, he did actually very good on the...
Hi, my name is...
He did... Oops, sorry. Indeed, he did very good on the door blower test, and the class paid off for him. And the scare during the class that it was leaking helped on the building. When we work on the project, after the design established, we take it to Design PH, and then from there to the PHPP, the Passive House Planning Package. We are in a moderate climate here, in a warm climate, and our certifier is actually Steve Mann. He's on the call as well. And how do we apply the findings or the output from the PHPP? How does it inform our construction? And these 5 principles, in terms of insulation, we have a regular 2x4 wood framing project. We use cavity insulation. We do a net and blow insulation on that building. And the only extra part in comparison to a regular standard construction is that we're adding exterior continuous insulation on the walls and on the roof and on the foundation perimeter insulation. So in comparison to other Passive House projects in cold climates where you see thick walls, here in Southern California, it's very easily achieved from an insulation perspective with a small additional item here of insulation. Windows and exterior shading. The exterior shading we have for the large windows, which was important for the client to have a lot of light and indoor-outdoor connection. For the building, we have roof overhangs from the 2nd floor. And then for the windows, we are using European windows. Those are wood windows with aluminum cladding. They have a great performance in terms of airtightness and energy performance. And at the same time, they have an amazing feel. Those are tilt and turn, and they're giving a prime factor for the rental in the future as well. And they're performing very well. In terms of air tightness, that's where we see the biggest saving and the biggest impact in comparison to standard code construction here, especially in Southern California. And on this project, we used peel and stick membrane. In the past, we have used liquid applied air barriers here. But I was very happy with the outcome of this membrane, and the contractor and his team did a great performance installing it, especially taking care of the transitions between roof to wall, wall to foundation, and to windows. The air tightness and the door blower test, our contractor was scared of. You see the stressed faces here in the image, where everybody is getting ready for the door blower test. It's the first time we tested such a small building. The ADUs and the single family is very small. And in the first attempt, I actually expected that we have a lot of air sealing and taping to do and chasing leaks, but we came in at 0.35 ACH at 50 as an average between the pressurized and under-pressurized test on the first attempt. And that was great attention to detail from the team, and everybody was very relieved after the testing. If you have an airtight building, you want to make sure that you want to ventilate it. So we are using for this project an HRV, a Zehnder ventilation system. So we're bringing fresh air in from the outside, sending it through a MERV 13 filter, then through the heat exchanger, supplying it to the bedrooms and to the living room, and exhausting it from the bathroom and from the kitchen. Before it's sent out, it goes through the heat exchanger again, and the embedded energy in the building stays in the building, and 100% of the stale air goes out, 100% of the fresh air comes in, no recirculation like on many traditional ventilation systems, and that got a lot of attention in the past, especially during the times of COVID. On this installation, we did not use the more rigid piping here, but the flexible piping with a new connecting system. It's a relatively easy screw-on connection, works very well with taping for our balanced ventilation on the project. Thermal bridge free design, we have the exterior continuous insulation layer to avoid any thermal bridges to the studs. And we have a metal roof with a solar PV system on the system. Some of the renderings, design renderings of the project, and an evening look here. And the client and contractor had actually offered to showcase their building, and has offered to open the house on May 11th at 10 a.m. for anybody in Southern California who is interested wants to experience a passive house under construction and see the interior of a passive house under construction with the walls still open, is welcome to join us. I will provide a link in the chat with a sign-up form. If you're in the area, would like to visit us, we would like to show you the house in person so you can take a look. And with this one, I give it back to you, Kim.
Great. Thank you so much for that presentation. So if you have questions, I think put them in the chat, and we'll do a sort of dual Q&A after Jason's presentation. But Jason, I think the floor is yours now.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Jason Scheurer. I'm with Best Techs Contracting, Design, Build, and Remodel. We're here located in the Southern California area, in Orange County, which is real close to Disneyland, if people aren't familiar with that area. This is where the property sits. It's at a dead-end cul-de-sac, next to, like, if you guys are familiar where Orange Hills Restaurant's at. But it's a low-pitched roof that has a TPO on it, so we're trying to match that as close as possible. And you can see this little rectangle down here. That's exactly where the ADU is going to be placed. And this is the footprint of the house. So downwards over here in the living room actually points north, so south is up top. And it's just a one-bedroom with a living room and a kitchen, and it's also going to have a washer and dryer in this little room. The good thing is that the plumbing, or the hot water heater, sits right here, and literally I think the furthest fixture away might be about 15 feet. So they should be able to get hot water delivery within about 5 to 7 seconds of this home. It's pretty close to being the same thing as Christian's that he was talking about. It's basically, it has its own separate address, but the lot has not been split yet. So that's the only difference between mine and him. and then regards of how the house was what am I trying to think of? How it was done in the software program. Mine was done by EMU, which is our training facility out of Colorado for the contractors. They actually have me put in some sub-floor insulation, and I'm going to take you to a video on that right now to show you how we actually installed that subflooring. This is what a rendering of the house will look like when we're done. There will be a couple of little small changes, but this is pretty close from when we first started. So let me see if I can bring up that video. So on some of the spots here on this foam, as you can see, that we've got it covered all over the slab. We have factory edges butted up to each other, but here, because of the plumbing, we kind of had to piece some of the insulation together. But we have some gaps in here that we need to get in here and fill. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a measurement. This is about a ½ inch or so to about 1.25 inches. So what I'm trying to do is take this piece of foam and go from a ½ inch to 1.25 inches, cut it, and then we'll set it inside of this hole. And then once we're done, we'll take the Stego tape and we'll tape over the seams. So all this, you'll see a bunch of red lines going across all of our seams. And basically what that's doing is helping with the waterproofness of moisture coming up from the dirt slab through our sand to our insulation and stop it from hitting our vapor barrier that is called Stego Home. And we'll show you that process once we get there. We're taping the field, which is these seams here, to stop moisture from coming up from the ground there, but we also have to tape here. If you can see inside the footing, we're taping this insulation to each other, but we also have to tape the 4-inch to the 2-inch. And I'll show you how we're doing that. So we're just running it down on the seam, about halfway, going right over that rebar. So this is our plumbing penetration for our kitchen sink, and when it comes out through the foam or through our concrete slab, what my plumber has done is protected it for expansion and contraction. The problem is with this, even as we peel this back, there's moisture underneath there, so it collects the morning dew and moisture and vapor, and then it releases it. So our goal is to, whenever we tape our foam or our Stego home wrap with this tape, we need to make sure we get it to a material that doesn't expand and contract like this foam here does, because this is really an open cell foam and it holds on to a lot of moisture. This is also foam, but this is more of a closed cell foam with a very high perm rate, very low perm rate. And the lower the perm rate, the less vapor gets through. So our goal here is when we get to this penetration, is we got to pull this plumber's foam out a little bit, and we got to tape around this pipe properly to seal this off from, again, vapor, any type of moisture, bulk moisture, insects, and radon gas. And I'll show you that as we go. And then we will tape that. Sometimes it's easier just to kind of fold it. And then we'll tape that down and around. And I'll probably have to do about 5 or 6 pieces that small just to get in there and hold it down properly. Okay, so I've got the tape all the way around our pipe penetration. Then my plumber's insulation can come back over the top and butt up against it. That's so when the concrete gets poured around here, it still has a little bit of flexibility and movement. Okay, so remember, peel back your plumber's insulation, tape your material, your foam material with a Stego home tape is what we're using, but make sure it's to the pipe penetration itself and not to this foam, because this foam will still let moisture travel back and forth. When you're done, then you can go ahead and slide that over, because the tape will stop the moisture from getting inside. So anytime you have two pieces of the Stay Go Home wrap that come over and cross each other, you still have to make it kind of like it's one piece. So what the manufacturer says for the Stay Go Home is that these should overlap a minimum of 6 inches. So by the time we get this done and that, if we take a measurement, we're about 9. So we're more than good. And what we do is we'll just tape this seam down after we cut this, and then that'll take care of all this patchwork and everything else that comes across these pipes. And we can just redo the tape again like we have over here. Remember, you gotta stop moisture, you gotta stop gases, and any type of insects from coming up from the ground. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we cut this piece of Stay Go Home vapor barrier long so we can run it into the footing and back out the other side. So what we're going to do here is just kind of push this down. And what we'll do is we'll slide this in, because that's how thick the footing is, 12 inches. And this will kind of keep us square so we can tape it up properly. See that we got this side down here. We got it all squared off, taped up. Okay, down into the footing. Now we're working this other side over here, and we'll show you that process. Same process, come down here. We got to cut a little bit of the corner so this can lay flat, and then overlap, and we got it all taped and seamed. So what we'll probably do is just start over here, and we'll wrap this footing, and then we'll wrap this footing, and so on until we're completely finished.
Yeah, I see we are at the top of the hour now, so I just want to thank everybody for being here, especially our presenters, Christian and Jason. Jay, do you want to play us out?
Yes, let me share the screen and pop this up. I will suggest apologies for the technical issues that we had. This one didn't go as smoothly as we had hoped, but it was great information, and thank you all for your participation. Something I can suggest, I saw there were other questions that were not yet answered that we didn't get to, and I let you know that if you'll send your question, if you want to talk specifically, to info@passivehousecal.org, both Christian and Jason will receive that, because the info@passivehousecal.org goes to all board members. So if you had a question you wanted to ask further, you could get it and let it know us to them. With regard to the call to action, passive is the first thing to do, active is second. You've seen this if you watched this before, that the Maya Angelou quote of "once you know better, do better," and we're really in the process of bringing Passive House to the forefront in that way. And thank you for your participation in it. And then this slide, the Support Passive House California. If you could sign up for the newsletter. There's no charge for that. Your individual professional membership or organization membership, sponsored, donor, volunteer, you can find all of those at passivehousecal.org. And then in conclusion, thank you to both Jason and Christian and Kim for putting things together, and thanks to all of you for attending. I've shown this before, that the only light in this picture or the only light bulb that's lit in this picture is the center light, but the word is spreading to those around them, and these community meetings are really good about spreading the information and the comments we get from the different people that are coming. So thank you all for your time and attention, and here is the info@passivehousecal.org email if you need to reach somebody here. So thank you, and stay safe.